This is the Military Bottom Line Podcast, episode 53.
A lot of these guys that come in and, they think the Marine Corps is what they see on Full Metal Jacket or Jarhead and all these movies. And it's could be further from the truth. Not everybody's kicking in doors and getting the bad guys.
Welcome to the Military Bottom Line Podcast, where we learn from veterans and those currently serving how to make the most out of a military contract. We're here to motivate, inspire, and help you leverage your service to positively impact you professionally, personally, and financially during your military career and beyond. What's going on, guys? Thanks for tuning in this week. This week, I have got a pretty unique episode where I have got two active duty U.S. Marine Corps recruiters on the call to kind of talk about their story and talk about some common questions and issues that young men and women run into while they're joining the Marine Corps. Things like things that might disqualify them, things that might prevent them from realizing this opportunity. So, it gives an aspect of why they joined and kind of brings it full circle to, those that are thinking about joining and trying to figure out what's the process, what's the steps. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I hope it answers some questions that you might have if you're currently thinking about the military. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. What's going on, gents? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you? Good.
Good. Hey, this is the first time I'm having two guests on simultaneously. So for those listening, we'll try to balance out the conversation as much as possible. And hopefully we'll do decent at not interrupting each other.
Sounds good.
Right on. So I got Jeff and I got Brendon. Just introduce yourselves real quick.
I'm Jeff, Sergeant Fellmy out here, and recruiter out here in Michigan. 34. I got into the Marine Corps a little late. I'm actually from Michigan, so coming back here was something that I wanted to do. Just try and get back to the home state and make a positive impact on the community.
Right on. 34. That's how long you been in now?
I've been in 8 years. It took me a little while. Yeah, it took me a little while to get in and kind of figure out what I wanted to do in my future. But everything happens for a reason. I'm here now, and water under the bridge.
Awesome. Right on. How about yourself, Brendon?
My name is Brendon Slossar, Sergeant Slossar. I'm also from, Michigan. I actually grew up probably 15 minutes away from the station, same place I got recruited out of. Been in for about 6 years now. Basically the same thing as him. I wanted to come back, kind of give back to my community. It's cool coming back and getting to interact with some of the same teachers that I had. I went to a couple different schools here. So it's cool to get back in there and say, hey, this is everything that I've done. Thanks for this. Thanks for that. And cool. Kind of just form a mutual relationship between, the recruiters in the area and, the school system. So.
Yeah, it's something we'll definitely probably come back to. But I'm before I forget, do you find it almost easier to recruit because these teachers and you have a relationship?
It's kind of difficult. It's kind of difficult still because of COVID and everything.
Bad timing.
Yeah. I've got actually some good friends in the schools, so they've been helping out a lot. Sending people my way, people that have questions. So I do think I had a little leg up coming out here back to my area basically. Mm-hmm. So
right on. What were y'all's motives for joining the Marine Corps in the first place?
Whew, man. Well, my thing, man, was I just couldn't wait to get out of high school. I
like every high schooler.
Yeah, exactly. So I bounced around a little bit. Education wasn't, I don't know, man. I just didn't really like school. So I was working as a carpenter for a while. I liked it. It was a good skill, good trade to have, but I didn't want that to be the rest of my life. I worked with a lot of older guys there, and I could see what they had gone through. The company I was at was it wasn't very, you hired in with whatever you were hired in at is what you're going to be at,
Gotcha.
10 years later.
Not upwards growth opportunity.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
But good skill now. Mm-hmm. I can do a lot of things around the house without needing to hire anybody. But a big thing for me is, my grandfather, he was in the Air Force back in, Vietnam. So I kind of looked into that a little bit. Well, I thought about looking into it a little bit just to kind of, out of his respect for him. So, but I'll be honest, I didn't even look into it. I went on Marines.com. I filled out some information just to kind of look around and see what else was out there. I knew college wasn't the route that I wanted to go.
So even though you had, some connection with the Air Force, you went straight to the Marine Corps?
I did. Yeah, it was mainly because of the commercials. I remember seeing those commercials when I was younger. And, the Marine Corps, it's got the stigma of being the best, the hardest, the most challenging. So I wanted to see what I was all about. I wanted to push myself and kind of give myself something to work towards and have a future, have a career that I was proud of and can look back 20, 30 years later and say, I did that.
Yeah.
Hold my kids to a higher standard, set something up for them. So here in Michigan right now, COVID all over, it's kind of affected the economy and everything. So back in my day, I guess you could say, in the late 2000s, the big three hit really hard, got hit really hard. So, and my company, we worked for the company that I worked for, we catered to a lot of the guys that worked for the big three. So when they stopped, hiring us, meant less money. So
gotcha.
Kind of similar factors right now. But yeah, I just knew I wanted something more. I wasn't comfortable. There was always something in the back of my head telling me to get out there and do more.
Yeah. I hear you.
And I've loved it ever since.
Nice. What about you, Brendon?
So for me, my grandfather served. He was in the Army, same thing, Vietnam. My dad, he joined the Marine Corps right out of high school. So it's kind of always, a thought like, the military is where I want to go. But when it came down to, being 17 years old, obviously you need, parental consent to join the military, all that kind of stuff. I was always a diehard, like, I'm going to go be, the 0311 infantry rifleman. Like that's all I want to do. That's it. My mom and dad said, no way, we're not signing for you. You can't do that whatsoever. So I was a little bummed out and I started doing, some digging and trying to find out like what kind of other jobs were in the military. So I went and talked to the Navy recruiter and he told me about corpsmen. So my thought was, I'll tell my parents I'm going to go be working in a hospital. But in reality, I'm going to go try to be with the Marine Corps, do that kind of stuff. So I actually went down that route first. Their process is a little bit different from the Marine Corps as far as like choosing your job and all that kind of stuff. So after about 3 or 4 months of being, in the delayed entry program or, waiting to go to boot camp for the Navy, one day I went to the Marine Corps ball with my dad here in town at the local VFW. They played the Marines hymn and, every single Marine and even corpsmen in the group stood up and they all sang it at the top of their lungs. And it was like 10:30 at night. I walked outside and I called the Marine Corps recruiter that I had talked to originally. And I was like, hey, I need your help. Like, what's up? What do you need? I was like, I need to be a Marine. Like, what can you do for me? Wow. So he started making calls. We actually had to get the sergeant major of the recruiting station over it was actually Detroit at the time. We had to get him involved to get me moved from the Navy over to the Marine Corps.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I know like recruiters say like, sign here, but don't worry, you can always change your mind before you leave. Obviously, like nobody wants to go through that, but it's interesting to hear somebody that actually did do that and like switch to a different branch. So, not that we're encouraging it, obviously. That's pretty funny. How upset was the Navy about that?
They honestly, they didn't care that much.
Wow.
As strange as that sounds,
it says a lot.
I don't want to badmouth the other branches. There's perks about every single branch, whichever one that you feel is right for you, that's probably right for you. But seeing the difference in the way that, my Marine Corps recruiter, he'd contact me almost every day or weekly or something. Asking, how are you doing? How are your grades? How's your dad? All that kind of stuff. Just seeing the night and day difference between the Navy recruiter and the Marine Corps recruiter.
Yeah.
It helped, sell me on the Marine Corps. And I was like, well, I'm going to do whatever I can for this guy. That's kind of been my goal through the Marine Corps is, I want to help out other people the same way that he helped me out. Cool. He was always there for me.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. I know, like, you guys as recruiters, I don't know if every branch does those little card things where it's like pick 3 that you're, that you want out of the Marine Corps type thing. But if you guys were to put one thing that you hope to accomplish or achieve or attain through the Marine Corps or through the military, what would that have been for you?
For me, it's just hold myself to a different standard. Obviously going through boot camp and everything, it's challenging. It's not easy to go through it, but constantly seeing like the little things that you achieved and then look back on the major accomplishments that you have gone through. It just, the Marine Corps has given me a way to continuously push myself to be better and strive to not want to settle for what I have right here, to keep looking forward. And it gave me that end goal mindset. What do I got to do to get here? Now get it done.
Yeah.
Ever since then, it's tough. It's tough sometimes. There's some sacrifices, but with anything, you're gonna enjoy those the greater accomplishments. The little sacrifices.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, I can appreciate that too. I felt like before, I signed up at 17, a little runt high school kid. Like, dude, I never knew how to like actually finish something, and so I think that's something that the Marine Corps taught me. Like, see it through, accomplish like whatever that goal is. They just taught me how to get there, essentially.
Yeah.
And like maybe a different branch could have done that the same way, but for me, I wouldn't know because I only joined the Marine Corps.
Yeah, exactly.
But what about you, Brandon? What was your like one thing that you wanted out of it?
It's kind of hard to say because, initially what brought me here was just like the pride that every Marine that I ever like encountered had. My dad's got a million different friends that, he hasn't talked to in 23 years, but the second that they're back together, it's like, they were just on the MEU yesterday crossing over the equator, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So like belonging to something bigger and kind of, at first, I'll be honest, I joined for selfish reasons. I wanted, obviously the financial part was pretty nice. Not having to pay for anything and just, getting paid, go see different countries, all that kind of stuff. Everybody sees the Mustangs and the Chargers.
I don't typically encourage those on this podcast. I'm trying to teach good financial decisions.
But the reason I stayed in, I really changed over the past 6 years. The reason I stay in now is because I see the difference that I can make in people's lives. Maybe it is like deeper. It's more selfish because I want to be the person to help change people's lives. But it's the ones and twos that are like, your project new guys. Like they come in and they have no clue. They're trying to find their butt with both hands. And just can't do it. And just kind of molding them and shaping them into something, maybe a better non-commissioned officer, NCO later on down the road, or just a better human being for when they get out. Either way.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, when you say like you join for selfish reasons, like, I don't know. I remember somebody in the Marine Corps that was like offended at the idea of joining the Marine Corps for college. Like, I don't know. Everybody has their own reasons for joining.
Exactly.
Not everybody needs to have this super gung-ho, like patriotic reason, whatever. It doesn't really matter as long as you do your job well when you're in and like you're not selfish in every other aspect of your life and work, So, joining for quote unquote selfish reasons is, in the end of the day, it's not even that selfish, You still signed up.
Yeah, you're still doing your part.
Yeah. Jeff, I'm curious what your dynamic joining if I'm doing the math right, 26, you said?
Yeah, I was 26 when I went to boot camp. I was 27 when I graduated.
Okay. So you didn't spend your birthday there, huh?
I did. Actually, Family Day was my birthday.
Oh, no kidding.
So,
that's not a bad birthday present.
Pretty awesome, man. Probably one of the best birthdays. You know what I mean? It's and then
awesome.
Graduation the next day. So yeah, it was a good time.
I just got a text actually today from a guy I went to high school with, and he shot me a question, like wanted to ask about my experience because he's about to turn 29, and he's like thinking about joining, and so it's kind of perfect day to have this conversation. 26, 29. What was that experience like going in that old when most of the other guys are like 18?
Yeah. Luckily for me, there was like two other guys that were 25, 26. So,
okay.
But I mean, in boot camp, there's so much going on. You don't really bond with,
Yeah.
But I knew going in that I was going to be older than my drill instructors. Some of my senior leadership, when I got to the fleet was my age, if not a couple years older. So I knew that, so it was, I didn't really know much about the Marine Corps coming in. So I just wanted to learn as much as I could from everybody and take it all in. I didn't let, age really make an impact on me, I guess, if that's.
Did it require that much more humility? Like I feel like the Marine Corps is going to humble you no matter what to a degree. But then once you get to the fleet and you've got some like corporal that's like 22, it's like
it was definitely a humbling experience for sure. I had to swallow some of my pride, because I'm 27. I've seen what it takes to succeed out in the real world and how hard it is, and then I guess that just gave me a good foundation to come in, work hard, and really prove that there's more to me than just being this old guy that's, just not coming in.
Sure.
Not gonna lie, I had there's this senior Lance Corporal that he liked to say, he tried, to flex on me a little bit, but, and I was like, look, man, no, it's not going to go that way. I know I don't know much. I know, but come on, man, I'm not 17. You're not going to talk to me or treat me like that, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, there's a level of like, hopefully some kind of mutual respect there, but
I stood my ground. But then at the same time, when it came down to business, I was definitely humble.
Yeah.
I definitely closed my mouth, and listened and tried to, like I said, try and take in as much as I could from everybody because, they've been doing it for, 6, 7, 8 years at that point. We're the same age. There's an experience level that I had no experience whatsoever. So of course, I'm going to listen to them and do what I could.
For sure. Do you feel like it gave you like some kind of additional motivation to get promoted faster to kind of like almost catch up to?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like being the older guy in my unit, I always challenge myself, to at least physically, try and out PT these younger guys.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a little chip on my shoulder to show that just because I'm old, man, doesn't mean, I'm gonna be in the back of the formation, sucking in. No, I'm gonna be in the front, and I'm gonna show you guys what it is to hold yourself to a standard as well. You're learning at that point. So
right on. Yeah, I like it.
Whatever you can do, man, to find that chip to keep yourself going. I tried to find something. A little PT. That's what kept me going.
Yeah, I think I missed the opportunity to ask you guys what did you guys sign on for? Like, what are your MOSs?
I'm motor T operator.
Okay.
I'm an engineer, 1142, generator mechanic, stuff like that.
All right. So before we get into a brief overlook of like what your career has consisted of thus far, explain to, for the layman what your job does.
I drive trucks. I drive equipment, supplies, personnel, point A to point B. But I also got to go back to follow-on school and get certified as a semi-refueler operator, which means I can refuel aircraft, transport, 5,000 gallons worth of fuel to point A, point B.
Cool.
I'd go more in depth with that though. Like, so a lot of people think, so a lot of people,
No, yeah, no.
No, that's fair. That's fair. Layman, but also then kind of let's dig into it a little bit.
Get a little more into it.
So a lot of people think you come into the Marine Corps and like you said, you drive trucks. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to drive trucks for 20 years.
Yeah.
What happens after 5-6 years of, maybe you're driving trucks for your first enlistment.
Yeah.
You're moving into more management.
So give us an idea of what the past 8 years has looked like for you without taking 8 years to say it.
Yeah, no, right. So obviously coming in, I got the basic fundamentals of how to operate these big vehicles.
Yeah.
I have my license. I know how to drive, but there's no keys in the Humvee. So, but learning how to really just operate military equipment, back up these crazy big trailers, up armored vehicles, not having, having blind spots like no other.
Yeah.
Really just knowing the fundamentals of how to maintain these vehicles. After that, you learn your job, after I've, ranked up and gotten more responsibility with my job, there's the equipment that goes on the truck. Now you're in charge of that, ordering equipment, making sure that everything, you have all the gear necessary to go on the road, like fire extinguisher, triangles, your roadside gear, you're your own AAA. And then I became like a quality control chief in my last unit, which, I was working hand in hand with the maintenance cycle, making sure that all the vehicles that needed upper echelon type of maintenance, beyond the operator level, I'll get with them, let them know, hey, this is A, B, and C is what's wrong with the vehicle. What do we got to do to get it in? When's it coming out? When can we expect these parts? And from there, obviously I got to be in charge of I had other Marines that I had to mentor and show them what it was to be not just a basic driver, more in depth when you're with your job. So getting more in depth with the maintenance cycle really helped me out to show them how to prepare and how to prevent future problems that we could have prevented in the past. So, and at the same time, showing them how to be, a semi-refueler operator, how to run the tank properly, how to do certain levels of maintenance on that, how to properly fuel up an aircraft, or how to properly fuel up these fuel bladders, these big bags of fuel. And
what do they call it? It's like a FARP or something like that, where Motor T comes in, they set up basically like a remote refueling point for aircraft?
Yeah. We worked, I got to work pretty closely with like the bulk fuelers and see what they do it's a really in-depth process when it comes to fuel and giving it to, issuing it out to an aircraft, because that's one of the first things they look at if there's any problem with the aircraft is they go to the fuel. How clean was it?
Yeah.
So those FARPs are they're fun, but they can be.
That's where the real work happens, right?
Yeah. You're doing your job, so it's what you're doing it for. So,
but I think also that is like, I don't know. I'm not Motor T, so I don't actually know, but I imagine that is like the most military your job gets is like, remote out in the middle of nowhere, filling up a C-130 that lands in the desert somewhere, like that's kind of what you signed up for.
Yeah. I mean,
it's pretty cool.
There's a lot that goes into Motor T. It's not just driving, equipment or MREs here and there.
Yeah. Not just a snack truck.
There's a lot more that goes into Motor T than I had originally known going into it.
Yeah.
So doing this job for 8 years has really opened my eyes when it comes to.
What's your favorite part about the job?
Driving. I mean, I love driving, honestly. I mean, I can just go out and hop in my car and just go for a little drive. I've always enjoyed driving. So actually doing it and having fun with it.
Yeah.
Working with these big trucks, man, and actually having a career, man. Like being a Marine has been my favorite part, but having to do my job as a Motor T operator and meet all the guys that I've got to mentor and watch them grow as not only Marines, but adults. And you see a guy or a girl that comes in, they don't know anything about the Marine Corps. I mean, some of them just graduated high school. They don't even know how to do taxes. So,
I mean, sometimes they don't know how to do taxes after 4 years in the Marine Corps too. So
you
got to take that part upon yourself.
But no, just I don't know, it's really hard to pinpoint one favorite thing.
Yeah.
Because the more I talk, man, the more I realize that, dude, I like doing this. I like doing that. You know, I like mentoring Marines, you know, like you said earlier, that family aspect, that belonging to something bigger.
Yeah.
And like I said, watching these individuals grow from not knowing what it is to be a Marine to then, you know, becoming a Lance Corporal, they got more responsibilities. Now they're dating, you know, they got a family, they got a home, they got a future, you know, watching that is honestly very rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's a long answer, but
no, it's good. It's good. I also want to challenge you a little bit with your least favorite part of the job.
Least favorite part.
we all have one. I know. You know, I'm here for unbiased, you know, information. So I want to make sure that, you know, there's always a downside, and like even if the downside isn't like the worst thing.
Man, that's the least favorite.
Showing up before everybody else.
Oh yeah, I could see that one.
I don't know, man. My least favorite part of the job. I don't know. Can I get back to you on that one?
Yeah.
Think about that
for you know, just so other people understand Brendon's comment, I assume you're referring to the times when it's like, all right, there, you know, the platoon's meeting at 06, but the truck has to be there at 0530 to make sure they're ready for the platoon kind of thing. So you're always there before the next guy.
Yeah, the time frame is always worse. You know, getting the wrong type of information. You know, it's, you know, I'm expected to be here at a certain time, and now I'm here and nobody else is here.
Yeah.
All right. Now we can stand by, right?
Yeah, and you know that's the nature of the beast, regardless of the job. Sometimes.
Yeah,
but that's that. You know, you learn to love that in a sense, and that's why I try to also encourage people to like use that time wisely. You know, rather than like scrolling through freaking like Tinder or whatever the heck they're doing on their phone, it's wasting their time. Like, do something productive with it. Bring a book or something. You know, because that time's going to exist no matter what. What about you, Brendon? What's your MWS?
1142. Basically, I work on electrical systems. You know, interior, exterior wiring.
Okay.
We work with, you know, water dogs, as people call them. You know, transporting water, purifying water, all that kind of stuff. Basically, think of anything in the trades field, and I work with somebody within that field.
Does that come with? I mean, if you're doing wiring and stuff, does that? Can you get your master electrician through this career route?
Yeah. So actually, the Marine Corps has got an agreement with the Department of Labor for the United States. We've actually got a program, US Maps. You get on there, you basically log your hours of whatever you're doing. In some cases, you can get your journeymans, your masters in half the time that it takes out in the civilian world.
Okay.
And that's just because. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that. Yeah, good info.
Okay. Yeah. So basically the reason why is because they know that, you know, right after you leave your schoolhouse, my schoolhouse is about 4 months. The next day that you check into your unit, or you show up at basically your job, for those that don't know about the whole unit thing. And that the next day after you go around and meet everybody, you're basically thrown into your project. Like, hey, this is the gear. This is where everything's at. You know, this is your mission for the day. This is the task for the week. And they know that, you know, you're working with people that have done the job for, you know, the guy that taught our class was doing it for 35 years. He was a civilian, but that was, you know, his career field. So you learn from the best of the best, essentially.
So almost, I mean, because I do remodeling and stuff. So like as I talk to like contractors or electricians and plumbers and stuff, like basically your Marine Corps time is almost your apprenticeship in since you're an electrician.
Yeah.
Huh.
And the other cool thing about it is you can do like different ones at the same time. So like while I was doing, you know, my job, my primary MOS, my primary job, you know, I was able to get my journeymans. Now that I'm out here on recruiting, if I put in all my hours and all that stuff, I haven't done it so far just because I've been lazy on that. But I can actually get certifications for, marketing, for, being like a counselor or a teacher, because, you get up and you talk in front of anywhere from 30 students in a class to, a graduating class of 500, 600 people, students and their family.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what USMAP actually stands for. Something apprenticeship program.
Yeah.
But it's
maybe military apprenticeship program.
Yes, that probably. It's essentially a verification of your hours worked in what specialties. So I mean, it's not talked about enough because I didn't do it. Like I didn't have that information. And if I knew about that day one, to then be able to say like, oh, like I worked on these types of planes, I did this and that, and then be able to like take that to a school and, scrap off a bunch of classes I don't have to take anymore or whatever. But I can really like expedite whatever the next process is. And so I don't know why they don't talk about it day one.
Yeah.
They should. But yeah.
For all my dudes, when they first come in, I ask them, what are you trying to do? What do you want out of the Marine Corps? When we sit down and we do that first initial counseling, I prefer to do it rather than, like a platoon sergeant or a staff NCO, because they're kind of like all over the place. I've got a million things to do. So I like to either do it early in the morning or after work, sit down and like get to know them, find out like, what do you want from the Marine Corps? Why did you join? What are you looking to do after? And from there, I kind of like base that off of what I'm going to tell them about the different programs. Because coming in, I didn't know about like tuition assistance. I didn't know about the U.S. maps. So I started late and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And, I want to be what I needed as a PFC Lance Corporal. I want to be that for these guys coming in.
Definitely. Yeah.
The cool thing about that program is that it gives you different routes, like different paths that you can go down. Because if I decided to get out, in 2 years, I've got the electrician route that I can go down. Since I found out about tuition assistance, I started doing that, and I've been doing college for free.
Yeah.
Nice. To take care of that. So that's another path that I can go on. If I want to change my major, I can change that. My path has changed again. If I want to stay in, I've got that. It's just open up all these different opportunities. Yeah. And that's what people don't really realize. I mean, I came in, no clue what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to join the military. Didn't know what I wanted to do afterwards.
Yeah.
But this gave me like a fail safe. Like if I don't like this, I can do a lateral move, change my job into something else that might interest me. Yeah. While I'm doing that, I'm getting my bachelor's degree in one thing, and I find out I'm not really interested in that. So I'll go get a bachelor's degree in something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Everybody thinks that they'll just like find the job they want to do and they'll be happy with it. And like, dude, you have to do so much crap to figure out how many jobs suck to then actually find what you want to do. So yeah, having that time to be like, try new things is super valuable. And I always try to tell anybody if you're using TA, so I don't know if you're using this or not, but you can also apply for Pell Grant and like cash in on top of that. So you get basically a bonus, you get a raise for going to school and school is free.
$1,000 every 8 weeks. So
$1,000 every 8 weeks. Are you a full-time student?
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. And that's a grant. Like you don't have to pay it back.
Nope.
Yeah, dude.
Like, so you can't beat that. You can't beat that.
Man. You can't.
The great thing about that, for people that don't know how it works, basically I go to the University of Maryland online, and they've got accelerated classes. So, normal college classes are 16 weeks, right around there. Mm-hmm. Since they're accelerated classes, they finish them in 8 weeks. So basically for every 2 classes that you take, because that's the max you can take at one time using tuition assistance.
That's full time, 2 8-week classes at once.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome.
So every 2 classes that you take, the Pell Grant's giving you $1,000. Yeah. The first check, I went out and I bought a MacBook and I do all my classes on there. Every one after that, $60 of that is going to my Wi-Fi per month. So the other $940 is investing, saving money, bought a new car when I came back.
Yeah. Yeah. It has blown my mind. Like everybody, I don't know, like hopefully people believe me when I say I don't have a bias. Like I don't actually care if anybody joins, but if they do join, I want them to do well, you know? And so it blows my mind that the alternative to the Marine Corps or the military and actually like getting paid to go to school is like going massive amounts of money in debt for the same thing. When you could just get paid, like literally paid to go to school. It's just
and so much more than that too.
Yeah.
Like that's a big thing. But now you're talking about, you know, the leadership that you're going to learn.
Sure.
What's everybody want? Experience.
Yeah.
My wife, you know, love her to death. She went to college. She got her degree, and I'm not bad talking her. She struggled.
To listen.
I know. Yeah. She struggled to find a job for a little bit because every place was looking for entry-level positions. They want 3-4 years of experience.
Yeah.
So I told her, you know, just keep your head down and keep applying. You know, she got lucky and she got in at an entry-level job, well, just above entry-level job.
Yeah.
But it's because of her affiliation with the military through me. And you know, her hard work, she got in there, and you know, it took her about a year to land that job.
Wow.
Most people think they're going to finish college one day, get the diploma, and then go out and start their 6-figure job. That's just not how it works.
Yeah, it's not how it works. Yeah. Right on. Well, to reflect the same questions Jeff got, give me your favorite part and your least favorite part about your job, just for you know, fairness here.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the job was learning something that I didn't know, because another part of the job, you know, we would deal with diesel engines, you know, gasoline engines, and obviously electrical systems. I came in not knowing a single thing. I'd never, you know, I'd done woodworking and, you know, I helped build sheds and little stuff like that, but I never got into electrical systems, engines, and all that kind of stuff. It's just not what interests me. The Marine Corps said I'd be good at it, so I went to the basic course, and I found out, you know, maybe I do have a knack for this kind of stuff. Basically learned everything that there is to know about it in 4 months, and then went out there and, you know, so just learning something new, learning a trade that, you know, if I ever want to, you know, drop whatever career I'm doing at the time, I can go out and find a job in that.
Yeah. Or even do it on the weekends, you know?
Or even just do it on the weekends around my house. Yeah.
Yeah.
As for the least favorite thing.
Yeah, it's not as easy, right?
No, it's not very easy. That is a difficult question.
Don't be holding back.
Yeah. Well, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's my job in particular, because like I said, it didn't really interest me coming in. So it's cool that I learned it, and it's cool that I know how to do it now, but it's not the career that I want to have for myself.
I was going to ask about that, because electrician versus corpsman or 0311, which is like infantry.
A little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. So the people that want infantry and don't get it are typically like super disappointed, you know? So you almost had it as a corpsman, and then you gave it up. So like, I mean, like, give us that perspective and how you feel. Do you feel cheated?
You know, I shipped to boot camp early, because originally, you know, I had I know everybody says this, but I was going to go on a recon contract. Everybody says it. Everybody says it. Yeah. And my recruiter called me one day. You know, I was working, you know, 15, 16-hour days working for Pepsi. And he called me on a Saturday, and he said, "Hey, I've got a spot to leave tomorrow. Do you want to go?" I said, "Yes." No questions asked. Called my boss, said I quit. Went to the recruiting station, filled out the paperwork that they needed me to fill out. And one of those things was a change in my job. I was disappointed, but at the same time, for me, it wasn't about the job. I mean, it is a little bit, because obviously you've got something in mind, like this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just wanted to be a Marine. I just wanted to be in. I wanted to, you know, get on with my life and start, you know, making myself who I am.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, not getting into the field that I wanted to get into it sucked at first. I was a little bummed out, but looking back, I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for the things that I've gone through.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything happens for a reason. And I feel like the military and how they kind of just like, they do whatever they want in a sense, like they're going to direct your life for you. And like, that whole everything happens for a reason kind of is like mostly confirmed through your time in the military. Yeah. It's like, you might be disappointed by a fork in the road that happens, but like give it some time and you'll realize like, all right, that worked out pretty well. So, I'm curious what each one of you, because like, I remember signing 17, it's a scary decision. You're like 17, you don't know anything. Like I knew absolutely nothing. So, maybe for you, Jeff, at 26, like it was a little bit different. But like, what was your biggest fear when signing the contract?
It's official. It's like, oh crap, I'm actually doing it. But it wasn't biggest fear, just of the unknown. Your recruiter or Marines, they can tell you, what to expect or how it's going to go and what boot camp is like, but you don't really know until you experience it yourself. Yeah. So just fear of the unknown. And that's a big thing that we deal with as recruiters as well is, a lot of these guys that come in and, they think the Marine Corps is what they see on Full Metal Jacket or Jarhead and all these movies. And it's could be further from the truth. Not everybody's kicking in doors and getting the bad guys,
Yeah.
But fear of the unknown, is something that for me was like, we'll see what happens, we'll see how this goes. But it was excitement. I was excited to actually have a purpose, that late in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
What about you?
Was it another question? Okay, no.
No. Same question for both of you. Biggest fear.
Okay. Biggest fear going in was honestly that I was afraid that I was going to fail. Like I wasn't going to be good enough. I was going to do something that would get somebody else hurt, or myself. But once you get down there and, at least through boot camp, I wasn't really afraid anymore. Like, I just felt like through the things that I learned, you're going to fail regardless. At boot camp, everything you're going to do is going to be wrong, even if you do it 100% right.
Yeah.
And that kind of taught me like, it's okay to mess up. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to fail sometimes because that's what allows you to grow. Now, next time, you're not going to make the same mistakes as you did before.
Yeah. Right on.
Yeah.
I want to provide, since you guys are both on recruiting duty right now. And so how long you guys been on recruiting duty for right now?
It's been a year and 40 days.
Who's counting?
6 or 7 months now. So I'm pretty new.
Still, you've had plenty of conversations at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
They didn't let you get away with having no conversations for 6 months.
No, not at all.
So I want to kind of give, maybe anybody that's listening who's maybe like they're kind of interested, but they're intimidated to go talk to a recruiter. And, I don't know what young guys and girls are asking right now. Like, what are their questions? But you guys have had a lot of conversations, and I'm sure you've seen some repeat questions. What are common questions that people are asking you before they join, and what are the answers to them?
Questions beforehand. A lot of it is education. A lot of the guys and girls that come in, they do want, assistance with school because they realize school isn't cheap.
Yeah.
You want to go to a major university, you're talking thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
So they do ask how the education works. But I mean, there's a ton of different questions that we get.
I'd say the main one that I get is, so if I were to do this, how long would it be until I go to boot camp?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
like they want to go quickly, or that's a weird question. Like if I were to sign today, how long do I have till I leave?
Yeah, because mainly a lot of the people that come in, they, like I said earlier, they see the Marine Corps has a stigma of being the Marine Corps,
Yeah.
So they think that you have to come in as this world star athlete, and that they're not going to make it in boot camp. They're not going to be as successful as they would want. So,
I mean, as soon as you look up Marine Corps boot camp, what do you see people climbing ropes, jumping over walls, running. So I think that a lot of them are worried about, how am I physically ready to go? A lot of people think they're going to come in, sit down, sign a contract, and go to boot camp in a month or a week or tomorrow.
Yeah, that never happens. There's usually a fair wait.
There are some outliers. Like just this month, I had 2 brothers come in, and they'd always considered the Marine Corps, but they never took the next steps for it. And they, after we sat down and talked about everything, they were like, "Yeah, when can we go?" And I said, "Well, we're gonna look at the schedule and see, how far out, how far can we get you physically ready and all that kind of stuff." And they're like, "Oh, well, can we go this month? You want to go like as soon as possible?"
Yeah, it's not a response we get all the time.
It's not one you get all the time, but there are people out there like that. But the majority of people, they come in and they're like, "Oh, but I don't want to go for another month at least."
Yeah. It's my mom's birthday or something like that. Or
we got a wedding or something.
Yeah,
some life event is coming up, but they want to be here for.
The way that it works, obviously you come in, you go through like, the ASVAB, obviously the physical, and then normally, I'd say the wait time is anywhere 4 to 8 months at like the longest.
Yeah.
During that time, we do workouts here in the office 3-4 times a week. So people come in and, they get their workouts in so that when they go down there, they don't have to worry about the physical part of it. We get letters back all the time from boot camp saying, "Hey, the PTs at the office were a lot harder than they are down here."
Yeah. Because typically, like once you're in boot camp, like not always, but you kind of get brought down to the lowest common denominator. So if there's like, one fat body there, then it's the reality. They're going to slow everybody down, and you do everything as a group. So as long as you're, it's kind of like you don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than your friend. Just don't be the slowest guy there, and you'll be okay.
Another common question: what are the reserves? A lot of people don't know about the reserves. What are the benefits of the reserves? A lot of people come in and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't want to do this because I don't want to leave my family, or I like this, I like my town," that kind of stuff. So we ask, "Have you ever heard of the reserves?" And they say, "No, what's that?" So just kind of going into depth about what the reserves could do for them.
So most people are like, they come in just completely blind. Like I saw a commercial, or like I heard you guys can pay for college, and you just school them up from like ground zero, essentially.
Yeah. We sit down with a lot of people a month, and just kind of break it down for them. Either they have, like you said earlier, everybody joins for a different reason. Whether it's education, whether it's wanting to get out of their hometown, whether it's just wanting a change, or they have a legacy. They want to keep that family legacy going, of whether it's Marines or just military in general. So we speak to a lot of different, walks of life. A lot of people from a different walk of life. Yeah.
Does it make your job easier if people have? I'm laughing because I'm assuming the answer. If people have an understanding before coming to you guys, or like.
So I'll encourage people to research. So everything that I say here in the office, you can find online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everything I say here, you can verify online through, gunny Google, the million and one different things that Google's got for us. But whenever I talk to somebody and, they agree to come in and sit down, or, they ask me if they can come in, I tell them, yeah, sure. Hey, do some research. Here's marines.com. Look at this. Here are the basic requirements, blah, 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 blah. Come in with some questions, some things that you don't understand. Tell me about some of the things that you learned about. I just prefer that they have, obviously it's not like a requirement or anything. I'm not going to kick you out if you didn't do any research.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think it's nice when they've got like a base level understanding.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, yeah, if they come from a military family and they've been around it, yeah, it makes it a little easier to kind of talk shop with them, like.
They understand the lingo a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. We got a guy here in our delayed entry program right now. His dad retired, master gunner sergeant. So he's been around here his whole life. His brother's he's a corporal. I forget where he's at, but yeah, he has a good understanding. So some of the things that we're telling all the police, what to expect and how to drill or how to do certain things. I mean, he's heard it before. I'll look at him. He's like, "Oh yeah, I remember my dad telling me."
I already knew that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, like I said, I mean, we're not gonna yell at you if you don't have questions or if you don't know what the Marine Corps is.
Yeah. Recruiters, like, we're not drill instructors.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they're gonna come in and get yelled. We always ask, were you nervous to come in? Yeah, just a little bit. Well, why? Well, I thought you guys were gonna have those hats on. Scream at me with tight sleeves.
Yeah.
Like, we're out here to have a conversation and just explain how the Marine Corps works and everything.
Yeah, I remember. I mean, the relationship between the pulley and the recruiter is like far different than the relationship between the DI and the recruit.
Oh yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So yeah, recruiters are far more your friends than they are anything else. It's a normal conversation. So
yeah,
I think it's important to have that kind of relationship, just because something comes up where something bad is happening at home.
Yeah,
if the police have a place to come and talk to,
Yeah,
I mean, without the younger generations or without the people that are looking for a change in their life, there would be no Marine Corps. We wouldn't have the job that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So we like to kind of foster that relationship to where it's like you can come to me with any of your issues and I'll do what I can to help you out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Big thing that we tell all the police here, it's a family here. Everybody to your left and to the right are going to be the guys that are out there in the field with one day. You could see them in the Marine Corps later on, but the Marine Corps as a whole, it's a family. You got people there for you 24/7. I tell them all the time, when he was coming in, I didn't know who he was, what he was about, nothing about him. I had reached out to him a couple times over social media. Like, hey, bro, I hear good things. I'm looking forward to working with you. And that was pretty much the extent of our conversation.
That was literally it.
But when he got here, we just, as Marines, like, we knew each other for years, and we was catching up. And, some of the police were like, "Oh, wow, you guys have known each other." And I'm like, no, I had no idea. Like, this is the first time I met him. So,
yeah, just that commonality. Like,
yeah.
Once you're, I don't know, it's like once you're in the gun club and you understand it, it's just, there's only so many places that you guys could have been. Surely you know some same people in same places,
Yeah, we got a pretty close pool here. Our delayed entry program, they're very close with each other, and they encourage each other all the time. I mean, they're out there working out with each other when they're not here. So, we just had a pool function over the weekend, and we had some command members there that were just checking our pool out, seeing how they're doing, and they were like, "You guys got a real tight pool."
Nice.
And that's what we like to hear, because lets us know we're doing our job right, showing them what it's all about. And I mean, we're straight up.
For the people that are like, I don't know, like, scared of coming to the recruiters, whether it's because they think they're going to get yelled at or whatever. I mean, there is a stigma to military recruiters, like y'all aren't trustworthy, So I mean, how and like, granted, maybe there are some recruiters that they just suck and they're like bad humans, but what kind of, I guess, affirmation would you give people that, like, kind of want more information, want to talk to a recruiter, but they just straight up don't trust recruiters, so they don't take that first step?
So I actually sent out a message to a guy, he's posting about, actually, it was you. I was doing it on your phone.
Okay.
This guy, he messaged me back. He said, "Oh, I know you just want me to come in because you get a bonus for, bringing people in and talking to them. We don't get bonuses for people that we enlist.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. the biggest thing is, if you have somebody that wants to enlist, they want to be a Marine, maybe I get to go home an hour or two early that day.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I've heard over and over again that like recruiting is the most difficult job in the Marine Corps. It's kind of a thankless job, And so for people thinking like, oh, these recruiters are here, they're getting like bonuses every time somebody signs up. It's like, dude, no, they're just trying to survive, man. They're just trying to like help people and survive.
Yeah.
I mean, sorry, I keep.
No, you're good. You're good, man. Go ahead.
I mean, at the end of the day, if somebody comes in or, they refuse to come in, they don't want to come in. It doesn't matter to me whether or not you want to join, because at the end of the day, if you don't want to be a Marine, I don't want you to be a Marine. It's just like that. Like, we're the first kind of screening tool. If there's somebody out there that we don't think was cut out for it, or, they're kind of a jerk with no grounds to stand on, why would I want to serve next to you? Why would I want to have the possibility of running into you 10 years down the line? 5 years down the line.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like the big thing earlier, everybody has this idea of what the Marine Corps is or what it's going to be like. We're people too. We're literally just here to tell you about another opportunity that you have in your life that could possibly benefit you a lot more than going the traditional route. Because if you're going down the same path as 10,000 people are doing the same thing, why do you want to be 10,001?
Yeah.
And like you said, if you don't want to take an hour or two outside out of your day to sit down and find it out, then no harm, no foul. I'm not going to stress out about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think, I mean, the other side of that is like, I don't want to keep saying kids. I don't know if I have said kids, but like younger men and women that are thinking about joining.
You say
you say kids too. Yeah, now we're just old, I guess.
But
yeah, I mean, I remember like I think I was the only one out of my graduating class in high school that actually like followed through. I think there were 3 of us, so then there are 2 bailed. But there's also a stigma on the kids that want to join. It's like, oh, they're the idiots, or like, that's their only route, thinking that like, oh, the Marine Corps will take anybody. Yeah. And it's just like, dude, so far from the truth.
Yeah. So
a
lot of people.
I'm curious, like, what is the percentage rate of people that come to you, want to join, and like you guys either, they're disqualified for whatever reason, or I mean, I've even heard of recruiters being like, I don't want this guy in my Marine Corps. You're kind of a jerk. You suck, like, and like kind of just put them off the other way. And so to the people that think that, oh, anybody can join the Marine Corps or anybody can join the military, what's the reality of that?
It's not it's not true. I mean, a lot of people still look at the military as like a last resort. If plan A doesn't go through, then I still got plan B, but that didn't go through. So now let me look at the military. Now I guess but you could have taken 3-4 years out of your life and find out you're not even qualified for the Marine Corps either. So
the
military in general, it's no longer a last resort with the opportunities and the standards that we have now. It's no longer a last resort like it was, back in the day.
Yeah. I mean, I think the only, it fluctuates obviously based on global conflict. But like, people have to be realistic, and the people that are thinking that way, if they're like, not doing so hot in life, they've messed up a bunch of times and we're in peacetime, like it's definitely not going to be your plan D that you can rely on, But, at that point, it's like those people, I don't want to say should hope for more conflict, but like that's kind of their only hope,
I mean, add on to it, man. Like,
I mean, we turn away people all the time. People with GEDs, there's a certain amount of people that we can enlist to have GEDs, just because, the Marine Corps wants to keep, I don't know how to say this, but our perceived knowledge level high. So like, the other branches will kind of drop their ASVAB scores to a lower requirement if, they're not, getting enough people to come in. But with the Marine Corps, we stay pretty steady at ours. So people that get, secondary education, or people that just drop out of high school that want to join, like, oh, I'm ready to go. Send me today. I'm 22 years old. I don't have a high school diploma. Well, I can't do anything for you.
Wow.
Same thing with tattoos. Tattoos is a big one. There's a guy that came in. One of the other recruiters was telling me about it. He had on a long sleeve T-shirt, sat down with the recruiter. Dad was a Marine for 23 years. This is what the kid wanted to do nothing but be a Marine. Went through the whole interview, and then he went to take his jacket off, and he had a sleeve tattoo.
Unreal.
Can't do anything.
Dude, like, of all the things you get disqualified for, it's like, come on, and I don't think there are any Marines out there that actually agree with that policy, but it's the nature of the beast. It's like, that's like, I have yet to get a tattoo because I'm still affiliated, and it's like, I don't want a tattoo to be the reason I can't do something. So, yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, something like that can sneak up on you.
Yep. Yeah, same thing with like drug use. Like, it's just bad.
If anybody out there, has any interest in joining the military, stay away from, the carts, the oils, the wax, that stuff. It makes it hard for you to enlist.
I don't even know what any of that is.
What
did you just say?
It's like, it's THC, and it's very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Potent.
Yeah. Potent. It's concentrated, very concentrated.
It stays in your body for a long time. I've got a young man that wants to enlist, and he's been waiting, since I got here, 7 months, and he's still not clean, and he's in a bad situation. He said he would go to boot camp tomorrow if he could, but he can't because he can't get clean.
Okay, it's wax. I don't understand. Like, it's like an edible.
No, so
there's that too.
Edibles, yeah. So I've never done it.
Yeah, I mean,
never done it in my life. But basically, you just burn the wax and you inhale the smoke or the vapor from the wax burning, and it gets into your system. You get your high or whatever. But it literally sticks in your lungs. It gets into your fat cells and all that kind of stuff.
Wow.
It stays in your body for
months.
Yeah, months. Yeah.
Wow. I do.
And with marijuana being legal in a lot of states, that's a common thing that we got to turn people away for.
Yeah. Man.
And physical fitness too.
Yeah.
So let's go through it. Like, top 5 disqualifiers that you guys can think of, that, especially the ones that people can actually like control. Like graduating high school, not doing drugs, not getting overly overweight in a way that you can't bring it back. What else is there?
Top 5 things that we deal with out here. I mean, those 4 right there, at least. I mean,
police involvement too.
Yeah.
It sucks when you've got a nice kid, awesome dude. I want to get him in. I want to, improve his life because he's not living in the greatest area.
Yeah.
But he did something dumb when he was 15, 16 years old, hanging out with the wrong crowd, got himself into some trouble with the police, and there's nothing I could do for him.
Yeah.
You can only run waivers for so much.
A
stack of documents like that, that big, and it goes up and somebody sees it and says, this isn't the type of person that we want in the Marine Corps. And it was from, a stupid mistake, possession of marijuana. That's all it was. He was on school grounds, and you just can't do it.
Yeah.
It's so, I mean, honestly, it is sad. Like, these stupid mistakes that happened, 5, 6, however many years ago, even the last year, whatever, to let that wreck such an opportunity and basically define the rest of your life is like, it's hard for a 17, 16-year-old to have that forethought and thinking like how each one of these decisions is actually going to affect me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sucks.
It sucks. Hindsight's 20/20,
Yeah. Yeah. But you guys only have so much power, and ability to get these people in. So like a waiver here and there. Like, I mean, what is the cutoff? Like, if somebody smokes weed once, they're SOL?
No,
Not I guess not that we want to encourage them to hit that cutoff, but like, I mean,
there's certain levels that it goes to, certain amount of usage.
So let's say, somebody with 1 to 25 uses of marijuana, that's no waiver required. Why were you using it? Oh, it was just recreational, hanging out with my friends. Okay. Hey, as long as you're done now and you're clean, a clean slate, you're good. But once it gets up there to the 50s, 90s, 100s, 100 plus, it shows, the Marine Corps says it shows kind of like a reliance or there was a reason that they were using it. That's when it has to go up to like the commanding officer or the commanding general of, the district or of the region.
Yeah. What about what do you say to the people that are like, oh, like, I'll just like not say it. I'll just lie about it. I mean, cause I feel like a lot of people think they can do that or like go that route or, I mean, what do you say to that?
Just be straight up about it.
Yeah.
Just let them know. Because they can find out, they'll find out, with the military interest processing station, you got to go down there and do physicals and all that stuff. And, you do drug tests down there. So,
yeah. And at that point, like if we know that you smoked weed in the past 2 weeks, we'll say, hey, come back in 3 or 4 weeks. We'll sit down and have a conversation and go through the process. But if somebody comes in, maybe they smoked yesterday.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I just want to get through the process. Okay. Hey, yeah, let's walk through it. Once we put them up, if, when it comes to the urine test and they pop for marijuana or whatever it is, at that point, they're disqualified.
Oh, wow.
We've got to run a waiver on them. And a lot of times it won't get approved.
Gotcha. So like if they say I smoked last week, then it's like, all right, come back. Like you guys are willing to do everything you can on your end. But if there's like a documented failing of a urinalysis, then
there has to be a 30-day period between the last time you smoked and the time that you can actually sit down with us and go forward with the process.
Right on.
Yeah, if there's any time within that, and like you said, you go down there and comes back positive, like
it's really disheartening to see because you kind of laid out this guy's or this guy or girl's future for him, saying, hey, this is everything that you can have, and they weren't being honest with you, or they're ashamed of it. 'Cause we've seen that too. I just didn't want to tell you because I was embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. We're humans too. We've done things in the past that we were just upfront and honest about, and look at where we are.
Yeah. Honesty is the best policy.
Bad news doesn't get better with time.
Yeah.
What's that?
The bad news doesn't get better with time.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Right on. Awesome. Well, what kind of advice and what kind of wisdom can you give to anybody that's maybe, thinking about this? They're debating taking that next step, talking to you guys or joining or,
do yourself service, look at everything. Don't just go down one route because that's what you've been told since day one. Give yourself an opportunity to keep all options open and see what works best for you. You're going to look at schools. You're going to look at trade schools. You're going to look at everything to see what works best for you. So let the military be an option as well, because there might be some things that you didn't know about the military that when you sit down and find out, you're like, holy crap, I can do that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Is that to include looking into different branch options too? I mean, obviously we're a little bit biased. We've had good experiences in the Marine Corps, but
there's actually a perfect story. I sat down with a guy probably 3 months ago, and he was always thinking about the military. He just went to college, always thought about joining or something. He came in, sat down, and we talked for a little bit. He was a good person. I liked where he's coming from, all that kind of stuff. And I asked him, is this something that you want to do? He's like, well, I kind of want to talk to the other branches. I gave him a business card from the Navy, and I said, hey, go talk to them. He was interested in like biochemistry or like, nuclear fission and all this big words. So I said, hey, go talk to the Navy. They've got a program for that. Just go check it out. So he went over there. He walked in. He checked it out. Probably 2 or 3 days later, after we talked, he went and sat down with them. And he called me. He's like, hey, I want to say thank you for, giving me this out or giving me the information on them. I'm going to go join the Navy. He actually left at the beginning of this month.
Cool.
So I shot him a text saying, hey, congratulations, go down there and do your best.
Yeah.
I mean, even if the Marine Corps isn't your choice, at the end of the day, you're improving your life one way or the other. Go talk to the other branches and find out which one appeals to you.
Yeah. Cool. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Guys, gents. Usually I say man because it's like one person. True enough. Any parting wisdom? Anything in addition to that you guys want to share?
Shoot, man. Just if there's anything that you've taken away from this, just being a Marine has been the best experience of my life. It took me a little while to figure out what I wanted to do, but I don't regret one day of it. The only regret I have is not doing it sooner. Knowing what I know now and the things that the Marine Corps has provided me, I could retire in 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah.
But hey, like we said earlier, everything happens for a reason. I'm here now, but we're very passionate about what we do and who we are, and who we belong to. So if anybody's taking anything, man, just know that being a Marine has been the best experience of my life.
Right on.
Yep. I'd say pretty much the same thing, but, on a more personal level, I mean, even if you're not looking into joining the military, you just enjoy learning about different things. Just try to be the best person that you can. I think for me personally, physical fitness is, physical fitness and, a good diet, nutrition is extremely important to overall mental health, not just like a physical health. And as a nation, we're becoming more obese and more overweight and more mentally ill.
Yeah.
And it sucks. I don't want to see anybody do that kind of stuff. So, even if you're not looking into the military, stay fit, keep yourself healthy, keep yourself happy.
Yeah.
And just do what you love to do.
Yeah. And even with that said, even if you're not looking to the military right now, Jeff, like you didn't look into the military at 18. And you never know what's going to happen 8 years later, so like stay in decent shape and don't do stupid things. And you might always have that plan D as an option. But if you're going to make these stupid decisions, do stupid things, hang out with the wrong people, like that plan D is not going to exist anymore, So you never know what life's going to throw at you later down the road if you end up wanting to join.
For sure. Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for having us.
Talk to you guys soon. Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed hearing Jeff and Brandon's stories. And I hope that you got some value out of this episode if you're considering joining and going to talk to a recruiter. Honestly, I don't care if you join, but if you do join, I want you to be successful. I want you to be successful no matter what. But I just know that the military was a great choice for me, and I am still benefiting from that decision. So I know it can benefit others too, but I get no kickbacks. I get nothing for helping you guys or for getting you guys to join or pushing you towards a recruiter. Just trying to put out some information and shine some light on it. So reach out to a recruiter if you're interested. Don't hesitate. They're really usually pretty cool guys or girls, and they'll help you out. So if you guys aren't following me on Instagram at Military Bottom Line or subscribed to the Military Bottom Line YouTube channel, there's a lot of different material, a lot of different resources and information there to continue to get the most out of your benefits and your contract and just to hear more stories. So go find me there. All right, guys. See you guys next week.